So one of the reasons why I decided to make this dress was because I thought that I had the fabric already in my fabric stash, and I just checked, and so this is it. I just like dragged it out. And it's just a little too bubblegum. It's not the color that I was hoping it was going to be. So we are going to go to the fabric store. And I recently got my learner's permit. So this is me practicing pulling out of my very steep driveway that ends up on a very busy street, which is why I'm going very slow and seem kind of confused. By the way, no, I am not 16. It just took my time. And we made it to FITM safe and sound. And I really do like shopping here because of how familiar it feels. And now that I'm not having nightly anxiety attacks about whether or not I'm going to finish my assignments and graduate, I can really browse freely. And the fabric there is really cheap.
Do a little dance. Do a little dance. Yeah.
So I got the fabric that I needed for the dress, but I wanted to show you what else I got because it's very cheap and very nice. I got this whole spool of elastic with this lace trim, and this whole spool was only $4. Good deal. This light pink elastic, and this was also $4. This really pretty mesh with flowers embroidered onto it, and this super soft, pretty twill weave. I don't know, I'll figure it out. It's not really a twill, but it's super soft and pretty. And the fabric that I got for the dress that is a little bit redder than the Valentino dress, but the vibrancy and in certain lighting, it looks exactly like it. And I got the thread for the dress. Each of these were $1. I also forgot to mention that I got this skirt for $5. And I got this corset for $5. See? There's $5. And it was $5 because the zipper was broken and I'm already altering it, so that's why it looks weird, but it's cute. So there's a few different ways to approach making the pattern for this dress, but for me, I decided that draping it was going to be the easiest and the most fun option. So the first thing that I did was go in with some draping tape and mark all of the outlines onto the dress form that I needed to make the dress. Then I went in with some muslin and filled out all of my outlines and worked out any little details like the bust, like the darts on the boost, the boost darts. Then I went in with a pen and marked out any details that I had to remember. So that way when I take it off of the dress form, it doesn't look like just a random piece of fabric that means nothing to me. Once that's done, I take it off of the dress form, trace it onto paper, cut it out of fabric again, and sew that up. Then I'm ready to try that sample on and make any adjustments necessary. And then I decided because I want the top to be perfect that I was actually going to go in and make another sample of it with the straps the way that they should be, because for this one I just cut some holes and used a ball of yarn to tie it all together, and that really didn't give me a realistic idea of how things were going to look. Okay, so it has been days and I haven't made any progress, but that's because we were having the trees in our backyard trimmed, which happened to be right outside of my studio, and we did a basement clean out.
Dirt, you get dirty.
So we finally got rid of the 12 boxes of 800 plus plungers that we've been keeping in the basement, and yes, you did hear that right. We have been keeping over 800 plungers in our basement, but that's a story for another day. So anyways, I did manage to complete the second sample of the top, so I'm going to show you that now. Overall, I think I'm pretty pleased with how the second sample came out. The neckties look great. Those are exactly how they should be. I'm not super happy with the darts, but the shape of the top itself is really great. And I made this matching bucket hat. Once I knew that I was happy with the top, I was ready to move on to the skirt, and I pretty much repeated the entire process that I did with the top with the skirt. So I draped it, took it off of the dress form, traced it onto paper, and then cut it out of fabric. So after putting the skirt back up on the dress form, I realized that the back was way too big. So I redrew the side seams, and adding 2 darts here that aren't on the original dress, but So I got to work making those adjustments. I also added 2 inches to the waistline because I realized that I had gained a little bit of weight, so I didn't fit my dress form anymore. And I say that it's my final sample, but what I am saying doesn't matter because after watching it over and checking things, I realized that I hated the darts and I didn't think the little part where it meets in the center was skinny enough, so I actually made a few more adjustments before cutting out my final fabric. And when I was cutting out my final fabric, I luckily remembered that the dress has 2 welt pockets on both sides. So I went back to my pattern and made the adjustments to fit that in. And of course, after adding the pockets in, I realized that I wasn't happy with them because of how crunchy they looked with this fabric. So I had second thoughts and I went to Mood to see if there was fabric that I liked more. And of course there was. It's Mood. But this one was $14 a yard compared to the other $1 a yard fabric. After picking up the Plan B fabric, we stopped by the house where we saw the bald trees and noticed that somebody took all of the plungers that we left on the front yard. All of the plungers. After that, we went to Melrose to do a little shopping, which is where I found this teeny tiny bag. And I know what you're thinking, and the answer is no.
Do you understand that it not being able to hold your phone does sort of defeat the purpose of having a bag?
So, after putting it back a few times, I decided that it was just too cute to pass up, and it's so little. And the chain that did not come with the purse, I got it on the internet, but I think it matches the picture pretty well. So even though I did go to Mood to pick up that extra fabric, I decided to just go with my original dress and not add pockets because I had already gotten so far and I really didn't want to start over. But now I have 2 yards of this backup fabric, so let me know in the comments what I should do with it. So once I had the major parts of the dress sewn together, I was ready to start making the little bows that go on the back of the dress, which surprisingly took a really long time. Then I hand sewed the bows onto the dress, which also took an incredibly long time. At the very least, half a season of Grey's Anatomy. So in case you were wondering what I've been listening to on my headphones, it's Ellen Pompeo. Except for when I'm getting ready, because for some reason I have been obsessed with the Mulan soundtrack lately, so that's what I'm listening to in this clip. And I just did a casual makeup look for this because she looks like she just has like a nice glow to her in these photos. So I just did the same basic makeup look that I do every day. Then, after I worked out some unforeseen technical difficulties, I was able to take the final shots. So I did add slightly more coverage for my comfort level, and I wish I made the bows a tiny bit smaller, but overall I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I think for $4 it looks really good. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video. Bye!